but celebrate two of the greatest actors with one of their worst films. That film being Ruination X. This film stars a bunch of nobodies, as well as Al Pacino and Jack Nicholson. Yes, two Academy Award-winning actors in the same movie. What could possibly go wrong? Just about anything that could go wrong. The film is so bad and so unknown, it's hard to even find a picture of this movie. It'd be easier to suck dick while wearing a gas mask than find a picture of this movie. I have the rare feat of being able to see this anus turkey myself, so I'll consider myself unlucky. From what I could find about it, the film was never released and was made to cash in on other sci-fi films at the time, such as Star Wars, Star Trek The Slow Motion Picture, and Moonraper. It was made around a time when Al Pacino's films weren't doing well. He had just made Bobby Deerfield and then went to work on this. Nicholson's films weren't doing very good either. Among the actors considered for this film included Robert De Niro, who fortunately was doing The Deer Hunter instead, and Robert Duvall. From what I understand, the film would have been released in either 1979 or 1980, but apparently was never finished because the actors went to work on other films. This is why they tried to use every scrap of footage that they had, resulting in a messy and overly long piece of buffalo fuck. No definitive cut of this exists. Apparently this is the work print. It's so unfinished that there isn't any music, sound effects, or special effects. This is the closest to a finished film we'll ever get. The director is dead. Pacino is trying to forget it even happened. Jack Nicholson did forget it happened. And the rest of the actors are either dead or never made another film. So what is the film about? It's a hobo's version of Star Wars. The main character is named Puke. Yes, that's his real name. His last name is some jumble of words that I don't understand at all. He lives on a peanut farm, just like Jimmy Carter. No, seriously, he breaks fourth wall and says, "I'm a peanut farmer," just like Jimmy Carter. We're off to a great start. We have our main character who states the obvious and talks to the camera like the audience is a bunch of idiots.
That's why. What are you, stupid?
Then we meet Jack Nicholson. He is easily one of the best things in the movie. Luckily, he's in over-the-top mode. It's like a precursor to the Joker. He plays a robot named Mon, who is always going insane and trying to kill Puke. Al Pacino plays his very foul-mouthed sidekick, P2 Up You, another robot in an obvious parody of R2-D2. And by foul-mouthed, I mean Scarface area. Pacino swears up a storm so massive, it gives Hurricane Katrina a run for its money. I wish I could show you clips from these scenes, but I got a copyright strike, and I'm in risk of having my channel taken down. Then again, the movie was never released. But seeing how desperate YouTube is, that a review of Cool Cat Saves the Kids was taken down, I wouldn't be surprised. The acting is as over the top as you can get. That is the only positive I can say for this fucking movie. The lack of special effects, sound effects, and music ruins any chance of the movie being good. I'm not even going to talk about the non-existent editing, since the film was unfinished and never released. Let's look instead at what I should be judging the movie on. The directing and acting. What directing? All of these shots look blandly filmed. There is one, I repeat, one good shot in this film. The film gives Manos the Hands of Fate a run for its money in terms of awful directing. But it loses because there wasn't a single convincing shot in Manos. This film is as slow as molasses. Did you guys get injected with fucking snail DNA? Hurry up! Some scenes repeat because there wasn't enough footage to make the film an hour long. It does that again and again.
This battle again and again and again until we're both dead.
Editing is non-existent. It's like somebody filmed the movie, then dropped a bunch of scenes on the floor and then put it in the order they picked them up in. This film is a collection of random scenes, most of them not even making sense. What about the other actors? Again, what acting? The acting is either hammy or non-existent. Some actors are giving performances that would make Nicolas Cage jealous or would make Hayden Christensen cringe. The actors are either dull as shit or crazy as shit.
Sell crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here.
The main plot, if there even is one, is about the farmer Jimmy Puke Carter. He decides to leave his peanut farm on a planet in the Morph Galaxy to join the rebellion of Dopey 2. He joins along with Jack Nicholson and Al Pacino robots, and they try to stop some desert creatures called Rudrex from destroying the Cimino Desert. So apparently they named a desert after Michael Cimino. Was this before the Heaven's Gate fiasco ruined his career? Speaking of ruining, what the hell is Ruination X? A drug-dealing robot that loves listening to Bob Marley and the Beatles. Yep, the title character is a drug-dealing robot. To be fair, he's probably the best character in the film. This is also the closest you get to a soundtrack in this film. Pretty much Ruination X is supposed to be Han Solo, but he reminds me more of Boba Fett or the Green Goblin than Han Solo. He's like Boba Fett because he has a jetpack and he's like a bounty hunter kind of character. But he's like the Green Goblin in that sometimes he's normal, and sometimes he's absolutely bonkers. If Jim Carrey from The Mask and William Shatner were combined into one person and then given a jetpack and some joints, it would be this guy.
Smoking! Buried alive. Buried alive.
Apparently this guy never went on to be in another film, which is sad, actually. He's one of the best things about it. The main villain is a guy named Gup Yarp. Are they even fucking trying with these names? Puke, P2 up U, Mon, Dopey 2. Spaceballs. Spaceballs had less ridiculous character names, and one of the main villains in that was named President Scroob. Wait a minute. Is that what they were aiming for? A Star Wars parody? Even as that, the film would still be fucking terrible. Anyway, the villain's plan is to invade Planet Morph and steal all the plutonium. Why? No answer. The villain is barely in the movie anyway. From what I could find, it was for some machine he was building. But this machine is in one scene. A scene where I couldn't even tell what he was saying because he speaks in another language. Despite not being able to tell what he was saying, he's somehow still an awful actor. His facial expressions and annoying voice are bad enough. As for the film itself, it's boring, makes no sense, has little to no production values, has terrible acting, and I can see why it was never released. Quote, Al Pacino in the movie Heat.
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
I somehow got this in the mail from a guy named Fuck You. Wait a minute. Fuck you!
Fuck you! That's my name!
I got mail from Alec Baldwin's character in Glenn Riegel and Ross. All I have to say to that is...
You stupid fucking cunt.
After all, that film did have Al Pacino in it as well.